Hello everyone, my name is Chamy and I am from Acuneeds, Australia. Today we have Peter Scarselletti from Qiology, who's been bringing fantastic seminars since 2012. Hi Peter.
Hi Chamy.
Welcome to our little interview.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you to Sarah and Acuneeds for having me.
So Peter, we've got Kiiko coming in March. So tell us a little bit more about Kiiko Sensei.
Okay, so that's a big question. So there's quite a few things to cover in this case. So Kiiko Matsumoto Sensei, she has been teaching all over the world for at least 40 plus years.
Okay.
As internationally renowned.
So obviously she's from Japan, right?
Yeah, she's originally from Japan, and that's where she obviously did all of her original studies in acupuncture and studied under different masters in Japan. Mm-hmm. And then at some point in time, she migrated to the US, and that's where she primarily lives now in Boston and has her clinic there. But she still teaches all over the world. So she teaches throughout the US, and she also teaches in Europe, she teaches in Japan, and in this case, well, when we're lucky, she also teaches in Australia, but it's probably going to be the last
time. Come down and down under, right?
Yeah, that's right. So that's a little bit of a basic idea about Kiiko Sensei.
So Kiiko has her own style, and would you like to tell us a little bit about her background as well?
Yeah, so Kiiko Matsumoto's style of acupuncture is pretty much something that Kiiko Matsumoto Sensei has developed over many years, and it's continually evolving as she continues to develop and create new material. So she originally had several masters in Japan. And some of those masters of the previous generation of masters in the field of acupuncture were very well renowned in Japan. So we had Master Kiyoshi Nagano Sensei.
Oh my, okay.
And also Dr. Manaka.
Oh, Manaka.
Yep. And, yeah, you've heard of Manaka before?
Yes.
And also Master Kawai, which maybe not everyone's heard of Master Kawai, but so these three primary masters, you would say, were Kiiko Matsumoto Sensei's main influences, and then particularly Master Nagano Sensei would have been the primary influence. Okay. And so what Kiiko Sensei has done is really distilled the knowledge that she's actually learned with training with these masters, and being the sort of very unique person that she is with her amazing level of intellect and her skill and her ability to apply things, she's been able to take things the next step further, as in like a stepping stone from her masters, and she's developed a lot of her own material. So that's why her system of treatment really continues to develop over all of the years that she's been practicing as well as teaching. So what actually happens in this case is that she has her primary corpus or body of knowledge and teachings, so that has been sort of similar or foundational level for a very long time. Okay. And then what she might do is, as certain particular focus areas or conditions might emerge, she may have had specific ways that she's tried to understand how to treat these new disorders. Say, for example, during COVID, or people who had post-COVID issues, she worked out ways that that people having issues post-COVID, it can affect the vagus nerve, can have negative impacts on the heart, and she worked out certain methods to actually look at reversing some of those negative impacts that people have had due to post-COVID stuff. Also, some other relevant stuff that she's done in the last years would have been working with the Du 16 Fengfu acupuncture point to have an effect on lingering pathogens and that sort of thing. So,
so both referring to the Western terminology style practicing, as well as the Chinese traditional way of doing it.
Yeah, that's right. So what you can see in this case is that one of the most interesting things about her masters is they had a very good, combined knowledge of Oriental medicine principles and theory and practice, as well as a very solid grounding in anatomy, physiology, and pathophysiology.
Okay.
So what that leads to is a very integrated understanding of Eastern and Western together. And that's really how Kiiko Sensei practices her medicine now, and it allows you to take a deeper understanding of modern illnesses or illnesses that we've been familiar with for so many years. Use that understanding from Chinese medicine aspects or Oriental medicine aspects to understand those particular conditions. And the way that that Kiiko Sensei primarily does that is she has a very specific style of palpation. So it's like a palpation style of diagnostic methods to actually understand what's going on. Say, for example,
so we're palpating what? Pulses, phase?
Okay, so not so much the pulse, even though the pulse might take some sort of priority in a certain amount of cases, but not really. It's only related to the stomach chi.
Okay.
But when Kiiko Sensei is primarily doing her palpation, the palpation primarily focuses on the abdomen.
Okay.
It also focuses on the neck, so basically like around the SCM and behind the SCM region here.
Okay.
And also on the back as well. So when we're looking at all the areas that connect to back shoe points and other areas or zones, should I say, on the back.
This is the kidney from back side. Okay, thoracic 11 to 12 here, and L1, L2. This is a kidney line. Okay, so I don't know you memorize, but we have a shoe point, right? This is almost spleen shoe. Okay, then stomach shoe, and then remember triple warmer shoe here. Okay, then kidney.
That gives us a little bit of a grounding of three major diagnostic areas that give us some sort of clue about what's going on in the body. Further to that, there might be other acupuncture points and, for example, channel palpation type things related to specific points on the channel that we might be able to palpate to actually see if there's any issues on the channel. So there's a number of diagnostic methods that are used, but they're all very much palpation based. So the amazing thing about the palpation style of acupuncture is that you don't have to think so much in your head. You need to get into your senses and actually feel what's going on with the patient. And so what actually happens, you might feel changes in the tissues, or you might actually get a direct response from the patient when pressure is applied on a certain area of the abdomen. They will give you direct feedback and say, okay, that particular area is a problem. And if there's a particular area on the body that is actually a problem, you can say that's a diagnostic sign. So with these diagnostic signs, as I was mentioning, different diagnostic signs will show up in different disorders. Say, for example, if someone has a particular stress-related issue and they might have a digestive issue, when we actually do some of our diagnosis using palpation on the abdomen, we might find areas related to the liver, related to the stomach, or related to the spleen and pancreas. And if we're seeing a few of those areas come up, it means we need to select points that relate to those particular organs or channels. So if someone has a digestive issue, but it's mainly only showing up that they have an issue with their liver, then if we address things to do with the liver, that will make a change to the whole condition. Because what is actually showing up on the abdomen is our diagnostic indication of what we need to treat. So the interesting thing with Kiiko style acupuncture, or Kiiko Matsumoto style of acupuncture, is that when we find those diagnostic zones on the abdomen which are disordered, usually the system basically teaches us that there's a specific treatment point that we'll try and test. And then what we'll do, we will press that particular treatment point with our finger or thumb. Then we'll use our other hand to double check to see, is there any change in that diagnostic zone which was showing either some firmness or tenseness of the tissue or discomfort upon pressure of the abdomen in that particular area. When we press the treatment point that we have in mind to make the change, what we will do is actually notice that there will be either a relieving or significantly relieving effect, or not much of a relieving effect. If we're not really finding much of a relieving effect, we might have to slightly change our point location, press, recheck again, and if we find that makes a change, that's the way.
That's the point.
That's the point. That's the point that we select. So then we accurately have to needle that. Then once we needle that, we also do a light stimulation of the needle and check once again that we've in fact got the particular point that has made the change in the diagnostic zone. So that might change that diagnostic zone, which was very sensitive upon pressure or very tense. It might completely soften or relax, or it might become almost not painful at all, or it might only be a certain degree, maybe 50 or 70% change. We're looking for a good change. And so what we have to do is, that's how we select those points. I know it sounds like a little bit long-winded now, but once you get very proficient at it, you can move through this quite quickly. And so what you might find is that if you try and release a particular area by selecting a particular point and testing it, and if it doesn't make the change, probably not the point that you need in that case.
So
And
that's a very quick feedback.
Quick feedback. So the best thing about this is that when you do a full differential diagnosis, you do all of your abdominal and neck palpation, find out the problematic areas. And that's all based on, and sometimes depending on the particular condition that someone has, that might guide you in the direction of say, look, I'm probably going to have to look at this area, and this area of the abdomen, see what comes up. But also you can't bias yourself. You might say, okay, well, I think that something might come up there. You check it, nothing's there. Don't try and find it where there isn't anything. And then so you go and do your general check, and then it might reveal something completely different to what you thought. And that's the best thing. Getting that hands-on feedback allows us to know straight away what we have to do, select the right points, get the change on the abdomen. Once we relieve all of those areas of a problem, that is like our constitutional treatment that we've done for that person. So if you were, say for example, practicing one style of acupuncture or a few different styles of acupuncture, and you might have had symptomatic relief points that you might select somewhere else, but you might not be addressing their constitution to a deep level. You might use some of your Kiiko Matsumoto style acupuncture palpation skills, find the particular zones that need to be addressed to make a change to that person's constitution. Then you might want to layer on some of your other methods from there. That's if you were someone who likes to combine things. But then there's in the Kiiko Matsumoto style, you can be someone who practices that style exclusively. Or you can be someone who practices that within certain sections of your treatment, and then other sections you might make other point selections. But you don't want to try and mix up too much, because otherwise it's like putting too many toppings on a pizza. It's not like a proper Italian pizza anymore, right? You need that level of minimalism. So you don't want to spoil what you're doing. But so that gives a bit of an idea of the Kiiko Matsumoto style approach, that you're getting that direct feedback straight away, so you know what you're doing and you know you're making a change in the moment. And once you know you're making a change in the moment, you're taking the guesswork out of knowing that this is going to have a result on my patient.
Thank you, Peter. So I've also heard that she does a little bit of classical takes.
So that's correct. So Kiiko Sensei, one of the unique things about Kiiko Sensei is that prior to going in the direction of acupuncture, like studying with obviously an undergraduate level and studying with a master and that sort of thing, she had like a unique skill set with text translation.
Oh my.
So this is a very unique aspect about Kiiko Sensei, is that she has an amazing ability to read ancient classical Chinese medical literature. So she really delves into the classics very deeply, to the degree that it occupies a lot of time in her mind, and she's thinking in the classics. What she says is that she likes to live in the Han Dynasty. So she likes the Han Dynasty classics. Her thinking is in the Han Dynasty classics. At the same time, she takes that understanding of modern anatomy, physiology and pathophysiology, and she brings all of that Han Dynasty classical text knowledge, and she combines that with Western anatomy, physiology and so on and so forth, and gets a really good understanding of different disorders.
Okay, so it's interesting that each organ, lung have gene from kidney, heart have gene from kidney. Do you understand? So it's interesting is that, and the later Suyan say, if kidney fall down, gene is damaged, then affected to the all of the organ, which is very interesting because you know that we learned that the kidney get failure, kidney failure. Once kidney die, all organ dying. So they already talking with the Han Dynasty. So gene, if gene of kidney start to get damaged, affected to the all of the gene.
One of the best things about Kiiko Sensei is that she will be reading the classics. She will find something that particularly applies to a modern illness or disease that it's literally just come out of nowhere, and it's a modern important area for us to focus on. She will use her unique skills of diagnostic palpation diagnosis to actually say, okay, well, this person has this particular illness, this modern illness or this other illness. Now let's use our palpation to see what is actually going on. Once she realizes what's going on with the person, that allows her to catalogue this information over many, many, many patients that might have that particular condition. And then she might work out, okay, this is a real legitimate treatment approach for this sort of illness. And so what she'll do is she'll teach that to her students or any people that attend her seminars. As a result of that, it's almost like a certain treatment method has been added to her system. So her system's been developing constantly for 40 years.
Yes.
So when you learn the foundations and do like a foundations class, you learn all of the foundations of how to run the whole system. And then you can add on new things that you might want to use in practice if you have strange or weird or wonderful illnesses. So that's a very interesting thing. But a lot of her understanding is guided by the classics, going into the classics, deciphering and understanding what's going on. Even sometimes, I remember one of the times I think it was either 2012, 2014, we were going with Kiiko Sensei, we were walking to get lunch, like a yum cha lunch in Chinatown, walking down the street, and I was having a chat with Monica. As I mentioned, Monica will be joining us this time as well. And Kiiko Sensei is sort of walking ahead, and then she's tracing characters in the air, and like you can see, like everything's ticking over. She's working stuff out, as in she's literally walking down the road and she's in the Han Dynasty classics in that moment and working out certain things. So I think that's amazing. It's really fascinating. Yeah. So she is a genius.
Wow.
Pure genius. Yeah.
It's good to learn from the masters, eh?
Yeah. Well, I always think that it's important to learn directly from masters. So I can say I've been lucky running Qiology. I got to meet so many masters. And then the thing with all these masters, like they've got this level of charisma, and it comes from their extreme levels of intelligence or their heart energy or their amazing willpower. And you can just say there's something special about these people, and you notice it straight away. So being around that is something that I like to do, because it allows me to sort of see if I can model some of those aspects of those people that make them so special, and bring that into my life. And that's why I think a lot of people like to learn directly from masters.
Oh, I can't wait to meet her in person.
Yeah, so I think you'll get a lot out of attending a seminar. So I would say that definitely one of the masters to follow for sure.
So I've heard Kiiko is coming all the way from Boston, and this is her 5th time in Australia?
Yeah, so she's coming all the way from Boston. I know it's
wow, that's a very long
distance way. So geographically speaking, it's probably the opposite side of the earth. So this is probably one of the reasons why Kiiko Sensei's only come to Australia probably 4 times before. So if we look at it, so she would have come to Australia back in the 90s originally, with the assistance of Peter Townsend, and then so that's back in the 90s.
Wow.
And then in the early 2000s, with the assistance of Peter Delaney, And then,
Didn't know that.
And then when we talk about Qiology, so that's with myself, Peter Scarselletti. So I like to call this three Peters involved in this case.
Wow.
So since 2012, so pretty much it was a bit of a interesting, I can tell you the story another time, but it's a bit of an interesting dream, and then it gave me the inspiration to get in touch with Kiiko Sensei and invite her to Australia in 2012. And then from then, Qiology really continued with a lot of seminars and training for Australians and New Zealanders in Kiiko Matsumoto style of acupuncture. So back to what I was saying, is that
this is a really unique opportunity to come and see her now.
Yeah,
or never, right?
Yeah, so pretty much this is the third time Qiology's invited Kiiko Sensei. So 2012 and 2014 invited Kiiko Sensei, and then we tried to around the time of COVID, and then COVID happened, and okay, we had to sort of say forget about it, right? And then so now we went ahead and we asked her one more time, and she agreed, which we were lucky to.
Nice.
And because really around or post COVID, Kiiko Sensei's really wound down her international teaching schedule. She's in her 70s now, so we don't want to make her come all the way to Australia too many times. So I asked if we could do that one more time, and she agreed. So we're really excited to see her one more time. So that's why I'm saying to people that it's a unique opportunity.
Yes, now or never.
Yeah, having an opportunity to see a master in person is worth it. So it's my personal viewpoint is that when you get an opportunity like that, so just say if you're an acupuncturist, like I've been an acupuncturist for 20 years now, and so there's certain points in time that I got to attend certain seminars with certain masters, not the ones that I organised, and then obviously I organised plenty of seminars with different masters as well. These are all unique experiences and punctuation points in my life as an acupuncturist, and I tend to think whether you have been in the profession a long time, or if you're new, or just entering the profession like a student, or if you're new, and if you haven't had that opportunity to see one of the several masters that we've actually seen, which are from this generation of masters, I don't know what the next generation of masters is going to be. I don't know. I haven't met them all. And are they going to be as well? I'm not sure. So I say that it's a great idea to take the opportunity to see someone who's the real deal when you've got the opportunity.
Totally agree. Yes.
Hence why I say that this could be a unique opportunity for someone in their career span as an acupuncturist to say, at this point in time, blah, blah, blah amount of years ago, I saw Kiiko Sensei and I learned something very special at that time. I take that forward with me in my career. So I think that is an important thing. So that's why I like to tell people that.
So I've heard Kiiko is very entertaining. I actually never met her before. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%. So I would say one of the most exciting and engaging and fun parts about attending Kiiko Sensei's seminar is that she's very entertaining, she's funny, and she makes the learning fun.
Like the first year students in the acupuncture school, if we find the right hole, like the image is the Captain Hook with this hand and dick, and if I get the right points, diamond coming.
Oh,
so
good.
she's very serious about acupuncture, but she doesn't take herself too seriously when she's teaching. So it's a fun experience where she has a bit of a joke with the audience and has a bit of a laugh, and she's got a real interesting humor and wit about her. So that's good to know. That's always a good thing about attending Kiiko Sensei's seminar.
Yes.
At the same time as that, you learn a lot because Kiiko is actually an amazing storyteller. And so I don't know if you've if you're aware about the whole storytelling part of of teaching is that people who teach through stories, it's almost like it goes into your brain in a different way.
Yes.
So when you hear one of the stories that she might be treating, doing a demonstration on a member from the audience, so that's usually her main teaching style. There'll be a bit of lecture, so that lecture will teach certain points, important new concepts that she might want to deliver. And then from there, what she'll do is a demonstration on someone from the audience, find the different problematic areas that they might have, or should I say diagnostic signs, and then work out the treatment points to make a change with their particular condition.
So there's definitely a lot of hands-on and demonstration.
Well, it's more so demonstration in this case. Hands-on is more so for the foundations classes.
Okay.
So this is more demonstration. Like you see the master in action, you see what she does.
I see.
And then at a point in time during, we also have a bit of a Q&A time where we can ask certain questions about things. But what I was trying to say is that during those times that she's actually treating the patient, or should I say doing a demonstration on the patient, what actually she does is usually tells some stories about other situations that have occurred, or a particular case history that she had with 2 or 3 different patients with something similar to that, and those stories are usually quite entertaining. So so that is really something that I can even remember. So even when I'd ever first come across Kiiko Matsumoto Sensei my whole life, it was from a video taken back of the 90s seminar that was run by Peter Townsend, and I can still remember some of the stories that she was telling, and this is like something I watched like 20 years ago.
Nice.
So I'm still remembering these stories that she was telling, and the concepts connected to those stories and how you would do a treatment based on that. So that is something that almost goes into your subconscious mind, and then it's like you can pull those things out at any time, right? So I would say that that one of the most interesting things is listening to those stories, seeing those demonstrations done, and everyone's having fun at the same time.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. So who's this seminar for, and what if I have never been to any Kiiko seminars before? What do you think is the takeaway things I can get out of it?
Yeah, okay, so multifaceted question. So thanks, Chamy. So the seminar is pretty much for all practitioners. Obviously, we don't want people who are not practitioners or not students of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. So any practitioner or student of acupuncture and Chinese medicine is welcome to attend. Everyone will get something out of it. So as I was saying before, is that if you are someone who is very much focused on one particular style and doing it as a purist, that's fine to actually approach the style like that. And then there's other people that might have other overarching things that they use in their practice. But as I said, you can really get some amazing treatment results or some very big constitutional shifts with people by using the Kiiko style diagnostics and treatment points. And you can layer those into your existing treatments.
Suyen talking, Papa Jin, Mama Jin, Pchung. Then Min Men start. That which is do for Min Men. Min Men is in between the kidney, right? The name of the Min Men is very powerful because life, we don't have any life points. That's the only we have one. So
yes, it can be very much used for people that haven't done the style, do a completely different acupuncture approach in their practice. And also it's fine for people that are new in the profession, that want to be inspired, or they want to learn some new and very applicable and readily available techniques that they can learn and apply straight away in clinic. And also students that are wanting to get a bit of inspiration and learn new things that they definitely wouldn't have been learning at an undergrad level. And then there's people that have been in the profession for a long time that are already familiar with Kiiko Sensei, or people that are not and want to learn something new and different and dynamic. So pretty much it doesn't matter where you are at in your acupuncture or Chinese medicine journey, it will be fine for you to attend, and you'll be getting a lot out of attending the seminar.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah. Well, that's why we make sure that everyone's going to get something out of these things, for sure.
Good. Yeah. Okay. I've noticed the seminar title is just Kiiko 2025, and you've mentioned some old and new methods.
Yeah, so I guess the title, Kiiko 2025, so we know that it's Kiiko. And then the subheading is New and Advanced Methods in KMS Acupuncture. So when we're referring to the new and advanced methods, so that is obviously something that's going to be covered. But being a Kiiko Matsumoto seminar, she will always cover the material that she's been covering for the last 40 years, which are like the foundation principles of the style, as well as covering the new material as well. So
some of her new case study, for example.
Yeah. So say, for example, there's a demonstration, and when we do like an abdominal diagnosis on someone, we might find that there's they've got a very common sort of pattern of disharmony. Say, for example, something related to tension in the CV12 region, related to there's something issue with their stomach, the right subcostal related to an issue with the liver, and the lower left quadrant of the abdomen might have stagnation there related to blood stagnation. And then these are the familiar, should we say, the major body of work of KMS acupuncture.
Yes.
But then someone might have those diagnostic signs in their body, but they might be having like a lingering pathogenic infection. And so that means that we might want to clear those constitutional aspects on their body. Then we might want to go to, say, for example, do 16 and find if that actually has an influence on those other problem areas and makes a change. Because in some cases, like what Kiiko Sensei found is that if someone has a lingering pathogenic infection, it might actually be connected to some sort of issue in the Do16 region. So when she's selecting Do16 as a point, it starts making constitutional changes for the body. So in those cases, that might be an additional treatment method that might have been covered in the last 5 or 10 years. It's a new part that was added into Kiiko's style because it's applicable for those particular cases. So definitely what Kiiko Sensei will cover is the main body of work of Kiiko style. Any of the new updated information that has been sort of developed in the last 10 years. Further to that, and this is one of the reasons why we are a bit too vague with some of our seminar descriptions in terms of what is going to be included, Kiiko Sensei might cover the newest stuff that she's never actually taught anywhere ever. Say, for example, she might have new stuff that she's working and developing in her clinic, and then you can go to a seminar on the other side of the earth. Let's roll out something cool. All right. So let's surprise some people, and it's like a whole lot of new stuff. So I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm hoping it's going to happen. So if it does, you can be happy about that.
Okay. All right. We'll wait and see.
For sure.
Okay. So I'm still getting questions on, this is like a Japanese style of acupuncture. So if I do like Chinese, Korean, or even other style of acupuncture, is this still okay?
Yeah, like in a nutshell, yes. So basically when we're talking about the different methods of needling in acupuncture, like it's all acupuncture, but obviously there's different ways that needling might be done. So needling in certain Japanese styles, it might be specifically gentle or very superficial, and then there might be other Japanese styles that the needling level is also deeper. So what I would say in these different styles, a way to actually understand is what you're actually trying to do. Say, for example, with some of the Japanese meridian therapy styles, which is a very gentle needling method, very superficial needling. So that is really trying to influence the subtle signals or subtle sort of energies of the body, and the 5 phases in a different and subtle way. So it requires that very light stimulation, and that might be different to how it might be practiced within Chinese acupuncture. You're trying to get a Derqi response, as in you feeling what's the traditional Derqi sensation. So with Kiiko style of acupuncture, it's a little bit different to both of those actually. So the way that Kiiko Matsumoto style acupuncture seems to work And actually, Kiiko Sensei's master, Nagano Sensei, actually coined a term that I heard Kiiko say at one of her seminars, is acupuncture is fascia medicine. And so when we're looking at how Kiiko style works, is that we're usually needling into like past a layer of skin into the fascia. But it may be more superficial than that, or it may be deeper than that. But the most important thing is that in Kiiko Matsumoto style of acupuncture, when you're actually palpating and pressing the particular, what they call the reflex zone or the diagnostic zone, what you want to do is press and test the point. Does it require a deeper pressure? Does it require a lighter pressure? Sometimes a lighter pressure will make a more significant change to the actual the diagnostic zone. Sometimes a deeper pressure will make that more significant diagnostic change to the problem area. So what that does is give you a little bit of a guidance. Is it a more deep technique that you need to use, or is it a shallower technique that you need to use? So after you've tested that point, seen how the change has manifested, then you would needle in that similar way. Then you would stimulate at that level of needling and see if it changes the reflex area. If it's treated the reflex area and it's made that shift on the abdomen or the neck or the back or the different meridian points or channel points, then you've needled it appropriately. So that is what they would call the chi or arrival of chi in a way in Kiiko Matsumoto style system. So what it is, does selecting and needling that point in that specific way make the change in that area of the body? That is the change. It doesn't have to be a change where you feel like a very deep or a very you have an awareness of the sensation of the needling. It doesn't have to be that. The main thing is the practitioner has to either feel the change in the tissues softening in the area of the diagnostic zone, or the patient themselves have to see the change in the pressure pain. When we've pressed on a certain area and it's very painful, and then we've selected the point, we've tested it, reduce the pain in that particular area very significantly. We do the needling and we get that same level of reduction. That is essentially the arrival of chi. So you don't have to, in those cases, needle it with a specific thing in mind to get a chi sensation. You just need to needle the point and you need to test if the change has been made. And that is that demonstrates to us that we've made the change that we want to make. So to answer the question, will it be fine for someone who is used to doing Chinese needling or Korean style needling or Japanese style needling? Yes, it will be fine for any of those, as long as you sort of adhere to those principles of needling to the depth that makes the change. And the level of stimulation is not usually a strong stimulation of a lifting and thrusting. So what they're usually doing when they're stimulating a point is what they call a very light sort of, or like a micro thrusting technique, which is a very almost like a vibrating technique on the actual needle shaft. And doing that particular technique is what stimulates that particular point. So the patient themselves won't really feel much of a sensation at the point where the needling is done, but they will definitely feel the relief and the change in the pressure pain and the change in the tissue in the area of the diagnostic zone. I hope that makes sense. There's a bit of a long and involved
no, it's all good. It's all good. It sounds very good. So now we all know that. How do we get to register? How do we secure a place?
How do you secure a place? So basically you just have to go to the Qiology website. That's www.qiology.com.au.
Okay.
www.qiology.com.au. Go to the website, go to the section of seminars or our latest seminars section, and then you'll see the Kiiko 2025 there. Basically go into that area registration page, select the type of registration that you want. We still have a few of our premium silver seating options. All the gold ones are sold out. We still have a few of the silver seating options left, which gives you that priority seating, which is very close to the front, close to the action, close to the presenter. And then we still have a reasonable amount of standard seating. But the thing is with our with our premium seating, we don't have an early bird rate on that, but on the actual standard seating, we do have the early bird rate on that. So the early bird rate is like, if you register with early bird rate, you're saving like $330. Now, our early bird rate is coming to an end on the 16th of February.
Okay.
So that's about a week and a half, or maybe a week by the time you see this video. So it means, you know, take some action on that if you want to get a better rate for your seminar attendance.
Okay.
And yeah, so, and you are going to ask me, but you didn't ask me, whereabouts is the seminar being held?
Yes.
So I will explain that. So the seminar is being held at the Seymour Centre. So it's a well-known centre that hosts a lot of major events in Sydney.
Okay.
So that is a pretty special event sort of function centre, and we've got a really good setup to maximise our learning. So we've got a beautiful tiered seating setup. So everyone's got an excellent view from where they're sitting. The seats are high quality seats. We've got cinematic size projection screens to actually project the live feed of what's going on with the demonstrations and any of the lecture material, so we can see everything, anything that goes on the board, so we're knowing in the moment what the different treatment points are that they get listed by Monica, who's Kiiko Sensei's teaching assistant. So pretty much it's going to be a great experience. Plus, we also have some awesome lunch and afternoon and morning tea breaks as well, which are catered by the venue. And I've just sort of finished up with the menu selection.
Oh, good.
It's going to go up on the website pretty soon because it's pretty swish. So hopefully we don't feed you too much, and you're not going to sleep during the seminar, but it will be good quality food and it'll be suitable for those with dietary restrictions and so on and so forth.
Okay,
and
that's good to know.
all delicious foods and like beverages and all day coffee and tea and you know, juices and mineral water and so on and so forth. So it's a bit of an experience of a nice venue, nice catering, great presenter, and great material that's being covered. Great bunch of people, obviously people from our profession. We always enjoy hanging with our people in our profession. And so yeah, now the only thing is what you've got to do is take action on that registration. So make sure you get in before the early bird ends.
So there you have it. We have Kiiko coming in March the 21st and the 22nd and the 23rd.
3 days of power.
3 days of power. Your early bird is finishing on the 16th of February. So
that's right.
Don't miss out. Get them early. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you there. And it'll be good to have you and Acuneeds along as well, Chamy, because Kiiko Sensei is like huge on sedative needles, which are, you know, obviously world class. So it'll be great to have you along. So I'm sure that anyone will be able to have a chat with you when you're there. And I'm so excited that you're going to have that opportunity.
I am so excited too.
Well. And I want to hear all of the good results of applying her methods in your clinic too.
Yes, I'll look forward to it.
Well, thanks so much, Chamy, for
Thank you, Peter.
having me.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing everyone at the seminar.